Let's talk a little bit about sort of risk. You talked about risk management, and that is obviously a key area for people, especially those that are in, whether they're new to trading or they've been trading for some time actually. So you mentioned at the start that you have guaranteed negative balance protection. So I'm guessing people can't lose more money than what they deposit with you, I guess, which is a really, really good thing. But how do you go about obviously, the markets themselves are volatile, and people want to be successful. They want to, everyone wants to see their account bulging with funds. But what's your advice on risk management for people that are in this place at the moment, just starting out, or what psychology of trading? Anything you'd sort of share with us that you've not shared previously around how they manage that?
Well, I come back to, so I have said this before, but I'll come back to it. It's very important to identify the funds that you have, which is your risk capital. So this is money which, if it all went, it was not going to affect your life. It's not. I mean, because you've got to appreciate that this isn't your pension. This isn't rainy day money. This is sort of, you've got to be prepared, because these are speculative markets. So you've got your risk capital. Now, once you've got your risk capital, you're not going to want to put all that on one trade. You want to divide that up to give yourself a lot of opportunities over time to make lots of trades, to keep yourself in the game. Because once your risk capital is gone, you can't take part anymore. So it's a question of dividing that up into tranches. Now, people say you should only risk 1% of your risk capital on any one trade. That might be the case. It might be 2%. It might be 5%. I mean, it's horses for courses. It depends how much you've got, and it depends what you want to do with it. But I would sort of say that is the absolute bedrock of your money management, is deciding sort of what you can risk and how you're going to divide that up, so that you can actually have a good chance of making a good number of trades. And when I say divide that up, that means that you have a certain amount of money. You're going to need to put margin up for every position that you run. But your risk capital is within that margin, or about outside that margin, is the difference between where you open your trade and where you put your stop. So that might be on a £1 trade on the euro dollar. You might have your stop 100 below your opening level, so you're risking £100 on that particular trade, and that's your risk capital on that trade. That's not your that's just that's how you've divided that tranche up. So that might just be 1% of a bigger pot of risk capital.
And I guess that goes back a little bit to what we talked about with regards to your plan, right? Because it's very easy for someone to have a plan that is maybe to do that 1%, and then suddenly they get excited, and suddenly the market's gone in their direction. That's where I guess some of the problems occur, I guess. And I guess you've seen lots of stories of traders that fortunately let their emotions get rid of their plan, and those volatility of the markets then changed everything for them, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with adding to a position. I mean, if you've got a position which is trending in a particular way, then you'll want to add to that. And any kind of pullback, so long as it sort of respects the sort of like that. If you're buying the market sort of like the lower trend line, then you'll be looking to add to your position, keeping in mind your risk management and your tranches and everything else. And likewise, if a market's trending down, you'll want to keep on selling to add to that position. You'll get, but you're mindful that you're going to get at a certain point where maybe there is a breakout and that the trend isn't working anymore. Yeah, I mean, there are so many rules. There are so many, sayings about the market. Some of them are quite contradictory. I think one's got to sort of just come back to basics and just keep it as simple as possible when it comes to markets. And there are lots of ultimately you can go with your gut to some degree, so long as you stick to the rules of your trading plan.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the key thing, isn't it? And obviously, if you've got in that plan, how important is diversification in that plan, David? So that that you're not necessarily focused in one or two single areas. How would you recommend sort of people to diversify their plans and to look at sort of different markets and areas?
That's a really tricky one, because you'll hear so many times how markets correlate, or how the dollar and gold correlate, or inversely correlate. So in other words, the dollar's going up, gold goes down, and vice versa. It's sometimes the case, but quite often it's not. And so, whereas someone might say, well, you really don't want to be long or short the dollar and long gold because they're, one will play off against it. You're sort of overloading your boat. You've got to be aware that these things correlate. But I would say, well, they don't always. This is actually the problem. And some of these things are just completely wrong. Because if you look from a technical point of view, what the chart might be saying something for the dollar, but something quite different for gold. And so they might correlate negatively for a while. They might correlate positively for a while. You just don't know. So it's quite difficult to get diversification, even if you think about a typical portfolio, an investor's portfolio, which is 60% in equities, 40% in bonds. Now there are times. And the idea is that bonds will always give you protection if stocks are selling off. Well, we've seen that how badly that worked last year. It's not a given. So you just have to be very careful with this. So, I mean, I would say don't worry too much about trying to be diversified. Try and identify the markets which you think are going to do something, move in a certain direction. They have a high probability of moving in a certain way over a certain space of time. And you do that through your technical analysis and stick to that. Sometimes, you might be unlucky and everything that you have bought is selling off at the same time and everything you sold is going up at the same time. There's apart from exercising, putting your stops where not moving your stops, thinking about your risk management the whole time. There's not much you can do about that. That's my view on diversification.
Which is basically what we hear, which is the case in a lot of cases, that markets are the way the markets are, and they're going to sometimes change. And I guess that's one of the things that we see a lot of people are trying to give the indication that they can predict the market, they know what's going to happen. But in reality, for everyone, it's about a best estimate and a best plan, isn't it? No one knows for sure.
No one knows for sure. It's all about probability. You can work out. You can sort of work out to a certain degree that the probability of a market doing this, that, and the other is 70%. That's probably a good enough probability to have a go at of backing your view. Yeah. But bearing in mind that you keep coming back to risk management.